My fellow Mounjaris, it's Dave, and I want to talk to you about a somewhat controversial topic today that just should not be. And I want to talk to you today about the way that the internet can be used to divide us on different issues. And then I want to come together at the end about how we can unite around this journey that we're all on together. By now, you know, like, bell, sub, that helps us grow this channel to get the word out. And we appreciate every single one of you that has done that so far. But today I want to talk to you about weight loss patients versus diabetic patients and who has this moral claim to medicines like Mounjaro. My friends, this should not be. In fact, I don't even really think it's up for debate. But before I make my case here, I want to introduce you to Ronnie. The bottom corner of my videos, I noticed the other day when I was going back through kind of critiquing some of the videos that I've done, is that this little guy had made his way into the bottom corner of all of my videos. And it just kind of touched my heart because Ronnie is what I named the logo of a company that I started back in 2014 called Nap Media. Nap is my last name. And I just want to tell you a little bit of a background about Ronnie, because Ronnie was my old man's name. And Ronnie, my old man, not the logo, passed away suddenly in 2012 from a massive heart attack. But a couple days before he had that heart attack, I had gone over to his house, and I was working at a marketing company that was also an IT company at the time, and I wanted to get into marketing. And he was doing video production, and so I kind of went over on a lunch break on a whim, just felt like I wanted to see him and talk to him. And so I went over and I talked to him about how I'd like to incorporate some of the things I'd learned from the marketing company into his business. And we spent 2 hours talking about the world. We spent 2 hours talking about, you know, Obama was president at the time, and I don't mean this as a political statement, but he thought the world was just going to end. I'm sure some of you can relate. So I felt like I was walking him off a cliff for half the conversation. But then it came to the business side of things, and he was really excited that I had expressed an interest in doing what he did. And so as I left and closed the sliding door shut that day, he said, "Don't forget this conversation, boy." And I never did. That would be my last conversation that I would ever have with him. 3 days later, he died of a massive heart attack. And so having that last conversation rattling around in my head for the following 6 or 8 months, I just felt called to just start the marketing endeavor that I had talked to him about. I didn't have him there to teach me, but I was willing to do what it takes to learn what it was going to take to start a marketing company. And so I started Nap Media about a year after my dad passed away. And before I knew it, I was out on my own doing this. So when I went to design the logo for Nap Media, I took the elements of a K and an M, and I combined them together to make this little figure that looks celebratory. And I named him Ronnie because my dad was a happy-go-lucky, life of the party, just a big influence in a lot of people's lives because he just loved people, and his life was something to be celebrated and not just perpetually mourned, even though his loss is something I'll mourn my entire life. But the memories that I have of him are what I cherish, and that's what this little guy embodies. So just cool that he made his way into these videos. I must have stuck it in there on my channel to show up on all videos years and years ago, probably back in 2014, and I just forgot about it. And it was just a reminder of my dad, but also it was a reminder of what he stood for, that little logo, and that's new beginnings. And that brings me back to what I started talking about to begin with, isn't that what Mounjaro is giving all of us? It's giving the diabetic the chance to eat a well-balanced meal again and not have to worry about a medical event happening. That's a big deal. But it's also helping people who aren't diabetic, who maybe have the potential to become diabetic, but if they can control their weight, they won't get there. I wish I would have had that opportunity. So to argue about who has the moral claim on this, I just think it's a dumb argument. Now, hear me. If Mounjaro was the only course of medical intervention there was for type 2 diabetes, this is a completely different conversation. But it's not, and it's not by a long shot. So these GLP and GIP agonist medicines are about to do for obesity what the polio vaccine did for polio. It's huge. So instead of griping about shortages, instead of getting into our respective corners on who has the moral claim to what, let's all advocate for a day, right? Let's all advocate for a day where this medicine and these types of medicine will become mainstream, ample, and accessible. Join me in advocating for that and not feeding in to this nonsense about who deserves to be taking this medicine and who doesn't. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve our chance at being happy and healthy. And I hope that's what the takeaway from this video will be, instead of getting into our respective corners. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you again soon.